you think you would have taken well to the team system in Europe, you know, where one driver might have to let the other drive and win, or you know how that goes.
That would
I'm not telling you
it's the same way over here. The big money came from Firestone Goodyear during the height of our careers. And Firestone Goodyear, and I was Goodyear, and well-financed with Goodyear, and Al was with Firestone. And it was good that way because, you know, we were able to steal a whole bunch from both sides of the street that way. But in all seriousness, it would be no good for us to be on the same team because it'd be too high-strung and probably both at kind of nearing the peak of our career sometimes in that era. So it's good that we were on different teams.
Actually, there was a very cute the way your mom and dad handled that back then. They took a Firestone and Goodyear jacket and cut it in half, and one had good stone and the other had fire gear.
That's right. We still have those. We just sent those back to Lisa and I. Sent them back to Ford Motor Company for the museum back there, so they'll be up in the new Racing in America Museum.
Yeah, that was great.
In Detroit. Different.
Okay, I've got the Unbelievable Unser's book also with me tonight, and it says the authorized biography of the first family of speed. So I think most of us would agree that that's probably true, but who's the second family of speed then?
I don't know. I hope it wasn't me. We were the first family of speed. Our family won 9 Indianapolis 500s. Nobody's ever done that.
No, I know that.
It's not almost in our lifetime. It's going to happen. So the Lord blesses you sometimes on some things. And he thought that we should win Indianapolis a lot of times, and he had to help build it.
Okay, well that leads me to my next question. I mean, you also, there aren't a lot of families in racing like you. Okay, I mean, there's many brothers. The closest I could come up with would say be the Andrettis. Okay, Aldo and Mario, and then the offspring and all that. Now, you guys have won 9 Indy 500s, and they've won 1.
That was one too many. We're letting the Andretti fans in here, you know.
So, you do say in the book, The Unbelievable Unsers, you talk about your brother Al and when he won his first, because the book was published right after his first. And you talked about things falling into place and what being part of it and all that. And how much do you think now, you can set the record straight if you don't agree with that anymore. If you agree with it, great. But how much is luck part of the 9 victories? Things just have to fall in place, etc. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I don't have an opinion.
Luck always has an awful lot to do with everything in life. Sometimes even staying alive happens to be a lot of luck. Some people make it, some people don't. But while I'm on this subject, I'm going to interrupt it just a little bit because, there's an awful lot of people that I know in this room that have been very dear to me for an awful lot of years, Ed. And I see them last night, and I see them today, and I see them here tonight. And they're very special to me. But there's 2 guys here that had more to do with my career. You can call it luck, you can call it whatever you want to call it. But without them, I may never have made it. And the first guy, you see a lot of the pictures that show up on the screen, and some of them came from when I was a young kid. And just floundering around, trying to make a living driving race cars. But it was through Pikes Peak, for example. Here's your luck, Neil again, that I met Parnelli Jones. And it was Parnelli that thought I should go to Indianapolis, not me. In other words, I never dreamed of going to Indianapolis. That was never in my sight. I didn't think I was good enough to do it. And I told Riff that when he talked to me about at Pikes Peak about doing Indianapolis, and I kind of dropped it and forgot about it. Then some months after that, the phone rang, and it was Parnelli on the phone. He said, "I got your car." to take your test in Indianapolis. And I thought, wow, now it's going to giddy up time. This is serious, you know. Because I've been running a lot of sprint cars, a lot of midgets, and getting my tail busted occasionally and hurt a little bit, but it was just amazing. Without Farnelli thinking that I was good enough to do it, chances are it wouldn't have happened because I wasn't pursuing it, for number one. Number two, when I hooked up with Andy Granatelli, the Novi, it was Farnelli that hooked me up with Andy Granatelli and spoke for me and told Granatelli that I could drive his race car and go fast in it, and luckily enough I did. And so without Farnelli, that part of my life, you know, I've still been running the fair circuits with midgets and sprint cars and making $100 here and $100 there, and probably would have been the end of it. Pikes Peak I would always done. And no doubt I became extremely successful at Pikes Peak in anything that I wanted to run because I really liked it. But then it was not too long after that I get my start. Well, there was another guy that came along. You know, Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company was my big factor. Farnelli was Firestone, brother was Firestone, but along came the guy by the name of Dan Gertie. And Dan decided to retire, and he needed a driver, so somebody to fill his shoes. Well, he selected me, and it lined up with Goodyear. There you're back to your luck again. Without Dan had been with Goodyear, without myself had been with Goodyear, which all started at Pikes Peak again, which is your luck that comes along, then I wouldn't have gotten hooked up with Dan and Ernie. And I think a lot of people are racers here tonight, and you realize that Dan had a nice team. He really made fast race cars. But he gave me what I needed, which was an unfair advantage to go fast. And development. In those days, the rules were not such as they are now, and innovation was gladly accepted by the world. And Dan, myself, Ram is here. Ram helped my race cars for so long I can't believe it. And without those people, without Dan, I just wouldn't have gone. Who would I have gone with? Where would I have gone? What would I have done? Maybe I would have stumbled, gone somewhere else, but that's the way it happens. So that's the luck that you get. You're at the right place at the right time. And these guys, for me, biggest change in my life. Now, I had other successful ventures by the bunches. But these were the two most important, and they came at a time in my life and when I really needed it.
You answered a lot of questions. Yeah, you did answer a lot of my questions. But let's talk about this luck deal, because I can't help but think about luck and talk about a good friend of yours, a good friend of a lot of guys here, Lloyd Ruby. He was a versatile driver in more forms of racing than most give him credit for. And give us some thoughts on Lloyd. He had incredibly bad luck in Indianapolis, of course.
Well, that's the opposite end of where I was. The Lord was taking care of me, and he was not taking care of Ruby. Either that or the whiskey bottle was helping him too much. Lloyd was without a doubt. No doubt in my world that he was one of the finest race drivers that ever existed. I remember when I was a really young kid in Albuquerque, we had midget races there in those days, and I wasn't racing yet. But a guy would come over from West Texas with the little Offenhauser midget, and he would just blow off everybody. Most of the cars were out of state, out of town cars, but that guy's name was Lloyd Ruby. And so he became a big hero of mine, and I didn't even know him. But there it is, now you go down that long road again, and before you know it, he's one of my really good friends, but also terrible hard